So this conversation that we're about to have has been brewing for about 3 to 4 years, man. And to say that I'm excited is an understatement, because in line in what we've been talking about, me and Ebony, my other co-host, who's here with us sometimes, we were talking about the millennial marriage, and that's a part of the series here. But as we were talking about off camera, the millennial marriage is covenant. Yeah. Union is two different things. Union is two people who are deciding to be in the same space together and share a life. Right. The marriage is covenant. Yeah, definitely. That means that when we come together, we know each other. You know what that means. Yeah. We come to know each other and we create life. We're married. Yeah. Whether the law of nature tells you that, because you create a child, that means both that child belongs to both you. And do you know how you identify? Because they look like you. Right. Then we can do some things called DNA, where we can see if that's your child or not. So you have to have that child into perpetuity. In fact, when you die, that'll still be your child. When they do 200 generations, that'll still be your child. When you have that child with somebody, there is nothing you can do. Nothing. So marriage, in the conversation we're going to attempt to have tonight, is under the umbrella of marriage. Because again, our generation, now we're in the age of the blended family. Yeah. Yeah. Man. Right? It ain't no longer the traditional 2-parent household. You get same mama and daddy. Right. Like that is, the divorce rate is at a 80%, 90% clip. Yeah. One out of every 2 people are divorced or separated, married, separated. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can find it, or either not married. So we're in the age of the blended family. Yeah. So, and the people I got with me tonight, Mr. T. Greene and Miyoshi Greene, welcome.
Nice to be here, my guy. We've been trying to do this for a long time.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. And how we arrived, so we've been talking about this because I met you guys at church. Yep. And how we arrived at this conversation was, one day I was scrolling on Instagram and I follow Miyoshi, and I seen a post where it said somewhere in the ballpark, I'm paraphrasing here, how difficult is it to heal from somebody you having to co-parent with? Yeah. Like, and I thought about that and I said, wow. I said that component is, because when you co-parent, you know the stigma behind it. Yeah. It's almost like there has to be friction. Yeah. Like it's almost required. Yeah. I don't understand like when we talk about it, when there's not a problem, it's almost like, what? You sure? Yeah. Let me investigate this in more. How?
I almost want to cut my eyes.
Yeah. So that's how we arrived at the conversation we're going to have tonight. But introducing them more, I met them at church, and I got to say this, there aren't 2 finer people that I've met, good-hearted people, that got some radiance to me. I think about radiance when I think about you guys as a married couple, and individually too as well. I see the type of influence that you have with people. And a lot of times when people have influence, you wonder, where does it come from? Where's the aura? Yeah. How do you define the aura in people? Right. And the more I have conversations with you, T. Greene, and we talk, we work all the time. We will never reveal it, but we always talk. Yeah. And we just be talking about life. And you know what I found it? I said, it's the heart. Yeah. I said, it's the heart. Yeah. I said, man, that's what it is. They got a big heart. And sometimes our big heart can get us in trouble. Come on. You can overgive too. You can give yourself right out of that aura and be the people of yesterday. Yeah. You know what I mean? So protect your aura. Yeah. Protect your space. You're talented. Right. And I wanted you guys to, because I believe that you are going to be leaders of this culture. Yeah. I was telling you off camera that we're the leaders now. The millennial marriage now, we're the leaders. Well, however our children turn out, there will be no more blaming Big Mama now. They've been gone, long gone. Big Mama them gone. Big Mama them gone. My grandma, I love my grandmama, but my grandma ain't influencing nothing right now. No. Her influence is already on us. So what she's just, she's just doing what she do.
Right.
It is the examples now are us. So that's why we kind of wanted to have this conversation, man. But just want to talk to you guys, man, just a little bit. I don't like to shout out people's stuff after we have a conversation.
Okay.
I think we need to talk about Lavish Impression now, and we need to talk about Greene Special now, because I want you to talk about what you do before we get started. Like, share your heart on what you do, ladies first, and then T Greene, you talk about where you come from. Hold on for a second. This is a podcast, so we can kind of freestyle. I want to say this. T Greene, my guy. So I want to say this too, because this is how we got here. And before matter of fact, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about you first. Okay. And then when you start talking about you, I want to talk about the camera situation.
Oh, for sure.
I want to talk, but go ahead.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Okay.
But introduce yourself. The way you want. Introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Miyoshi Greene, a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I am owner of Lavish Impressions Events. I love events. I love milestones. I love creating moments. I love the fellowship of it. I love the behind the scenes of it. I love the anxiety of it. I love it all to just bring people together. And so I am in my 9th year of business. And
congratulations.
Congratulations, baby.
Thank you. And it's interesting. I did not want to be an entrepreneur.
How did you what drove you down that pathway?
It was forced. If I can be very transparent.
Yeah.
It was forced. I always had a vision of being a planner, working with different events, but not owning the business. Let me be an agent. Almost like real
independent
estate.
contractors.
Yeah. Let me be up under somebody, because I don't want to have to deal with the taxes, and the paperwork, and the CPA. I don't want to do it. I do not want to be that responsible. I don't. And so, I went off to school because my mom was just like, I mean, you can do that, but that's not a real job. Like, you need to go do something. You need to go do something.
What college did you go to?
So I went to St. Augustine's University.
Shout out.
In Raleigh.
That's HBCU, right?
It's HBCU. We hanging on, but we here. Okay? Shout out to all my Falcons. We are here, and I'm going to still represent no matter what. Okay?
There you go.
But, so I went off to school, best 4 years of my life. And I don't regret it at all. But, I knew that I had a passion for events. I knew I wanted to be a wedding planner. I knew I wanted to have and do elaborate events for people. And I wanted to bring people together.
Good.
Like,
That's
that was
good.
just bottom line. And I've done it my whole life without even, trying to do it, So after graduation, went off to get my certificate and certification to plan. And I got intimidated. Period. I got intimidated.
So what did you get intimidated by?
I got intimidated because the industry is like $1 billion market, right? And the average planner looks like they got their life together. Looks like they got the high-end client. They hopping out the Benzes. They got the Louboutins. I mean, and this is just I go back to the headspace that I was in when I started my company back in 2011.
Wow.
So I really started in 2011. I didn't get it off the market going and running to 2015. Wow. And so it was crazy because I literally just explained to a good friend of ours. We have a friend that is pregnant. And I told him, I was telling her husband, I said, you never realize pregnancy is so much more than just carrying a baby. Pregnancy is spiritual.
Sure.
And even though you're birthing this baby, I feel like God has your plan set for after the baby too.
Correct.
Right? So maybe, I'm just using me. I'm just using my example.
Yeah.
I'm using my example. When I got pregnant with Caden, I had stopped planning. I had, did an internship for a quick second And I couldn't juggle it all. You know, I was fresh out of college. I was working like 3-4 jobs, like catching the bus, get from one place to the next. Got this great opportunity with this big time wedding planner. Kind of fell right in my little game plan of life. And I couldn't handle it because of life.
Wow.
I didn't have a car. I couldn't, you know, adhere to the schedule that was given to me.
Wow.
So I felt like I had to let that go to sustain life. And in the midst of that, I got pregnant. And so while going through my journey of being pregnant, God gave me the seed to birth Kaden, right? But he also brought back planning. And so while going through that, I was planning my baby shower. And that sparked the love and the interest, like, you can do this. If you're doing this now and you're pregnant, you can do this outside of having this baby. Because, of course, the enemy like, how you going to do all that? Child, you can really be a whole single parent.
Wow.
How you about to be a single parent and have a business?
Wow.
Now you a single mom.
How you about to do that? For real. And so pretty much when I birthed Kaden and I was on maternity leave, it just switched. Like, I had more purpose. And I'm like, dang, this, you know, even though I don't know if he will want to do this in life, but this is something that I can give to him if he want to sell this company to somebody, because I had them big aspirations like, oh, it's going to go big. Like, we're going to have pop-ups in different cities. It's going to be lavish approaches.
We still going to have that.
We still going to have it.
100%. Look at that.
Still going to have it.
Come on.
I'm going to make sure we have it.
And I'm just going
I like it.
We're just going to sell it.
I like
I'm
it.
going to give him, pass it on to Kay, and then Kay could just sell it if he want to sell it. Because that's how good this name is going to be.
For sure.
And from there, it pushed me in the realm of entrepreneurship. And when people say they self-made, I am self-made.
Wow.
I am self-made. I'm God-made, but I'm self-made. I didn't have any help. You know, I went through an internship, but everything that I have gotten through my entrepreneurship career thus far has been on my 2 feet.
Do people understand the skill set it takes to plan? Do people underestimate like your
Look, can I? Hell no.
Look, I can't answer that.
No.
I hate when she asks me to work for her.
It looks fun.
It looks like
one of those jobs
because people see the so when you look online, you be like, it looks like I'm seeing you walk with the celebrity or the person, the influence, and you directing traffic, and it looks like, I could tell them to go sit down. I could tell somebody to go over here. So the average consumer doesn't understand the nuance of planning. So maybe tell us about, like, you know, the skill set behind, not defining it like what you do, not give away your secrets, but what it takes and what goes into it.
You got to have an anointing for this. Like, I feel like God has to anoint you for this task. And the reason why I say that is because the ability of the different factors that we hold as planners.
Correct.
We wear so many different hats. So, you know, if you're a cameraman, you just a cameraman, right? If you, if you the host, you just the host, right? But when you're the planner, you're the manager of the cameraman to make sure that the cameraman is getting the shots that need to be got, on top of directing the host, on top of putting out fires in the back, on top of still welcoming guests, on top of making sure you're doing everything that your client paid you to do.
That's a fact. That's a lot too.
Whole project manager.
It's a. I can't describe it. I cannot describe it. I don't know how I get through it every event, but other than God's anointing.
Do you see the vision before, or do you, like, when you're like working, does the vision come together while you're working, or do prior to planning, do you already see what you want for it, or it just depends on the client? Depends
on the client. Depends on what they want. I feel like it goes back to what the client need is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody looks different. Sometimes it doesn't come to me right away. It doesn't. But the creativity and the intervention and just what he gives me throughout the planning process, that's what surprises me each time. Like each time I do something, it's like, dang, I didn't think he was gonna outdo it like this. All right, God, like, okay, sis. Like in my head, it's like all these, I got God on this end, me on this end. So it's just like, wow, like that's what's up.
Yes.
Because it's something different with every single event.
So I can imagine it's pretty adventurous.
Oh yeah,
I know it
fun.
is.
Now,
That's
don't
fun.
get me wrong. I love it. I love it. It's fun. It's fun. But like I said, it's heavy. I always call it a labor of love.
Good.
It's a labor of love.
Do you feel like that's do you feel like that's your ministry as well?
Oh yeah.
I can see. Yeah. I think you made it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I be praying over people and in the name of Jesus, God gonna get you through this thing. It's gonna be all right. To lay hands on every chair. Like, listen, it's definitely it's my ministry.
That's good.
It's my ministry.
That's good. T Greene, my guy.
What's up, man?
Listen, brother. Listen.
Got a real one, don't I?
Listen. Listen. You should not listen. You lose is on you. 1,000%.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I woke up a long time ago. Don't worry about it.
100%.
Yeah.
Some people are just, we was talking about, we're going to get to the kids later, but we're talking about how Callie,
Yes.
and if y'all don't know Callie, you going to know Callie. And y'all going to play this clip like 10, 15 years from now, and you just going to know who she is. I'll let them elaborate on that. But T Greene, I met T Greene first, obviously.
Yeah.
At church at a time, it was uncertain in my life. And, God is an orchestrator. That means that there is everything is put in place and there's a time for everything because of certain other things. And then certain other things has to happen for the full manifestation of the plan to come about. Because in order to get here, trust had to be established.
Amen.
This is, like I told you, this is a throne of grace. This is where we come to tell the truth about life and help the everyday, ordinary person. And when me and T Greene connected at church, that our spirits interlocked like this.
Can't make it up, man.
We were it didn't matter what happened. Yeah. There was a few situations, not between us, that was surrounding us, that me and him, it was like, we was on some G. Excuse me.
Nah, for
like
real.
that's why we kept it a band. Like I know when I'm around another one like me, that's just that mutual respect there. Yeah. So, and I want to talk about what you do now, but quick story, and about this, you can chime in too if you want to. I remember, I don't know when it was, we went to that leadership conference.
Yeah.
At our church, and that's when, and you were given something, and you were given a camera. Yeah. And I remember you got the camera, and I remember we went back to church, and you were just walking around looking at the camera and holding it. And I remember looking at it, seeing a curiosity, like you just kept watching it, playing with it, and and every Sunday the interest would grow, and every Sunday, step by step, you would see like, man, the devotion, the dedication, like, and you would see what we talk about, the athlete, that willingness to just
not quit.
I think I can win at this, and you get a little bit more curious, right? And you just get a little bit more curious. So I seen one camera, then I seen you speaking the camera like this, and I seen you speaking that thing like that, and speaking it up like that, and that thing, here we are. Yeah. So go ahead and talk about what you're doing, my guy.
Man, Greene Special Media, man. Wow. It birthed in 2021, man. I had no idea what entrepreneurship was, man. It's literally went from nothing in my eyes to something. But just being here now, man, hopping out of private jets, who would have ever thought? Doing media? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't fathom this thing, man. God, man, look. It was already meant to be, man.
Absolutely.
The book was already wrote. So I couldn't even fathom. The feeling I got when they gave me that camera, like, to have a conversation with somebody, not knowing where the conversation would even lead. It's like, hey, who running y'all social media at the church now? I see y'all. It's like, I post a few pictures here and there. What type of camera you got? Oh, bro, I don't own no camera. So to even get that reaction, they're like, what you mean you don't own a camera? So how do you get the pictures up there? I said, literally, I seen somebody in the crowd. I said, hey, man, you mind taking these pictures for me? I'm trying to spruce up the church page. Because in reality, man, you know, millennials ain't coming to your church. If your church page ain't lit, they not coming. I'm sorry. I get people to this day walking in the church. Just met somebody today. I used to sell pies to her. Shout out to Real Men Bake. That's my other business.
Absolutely, absolutely.
She been buying pies from the beginning since I started. And to see one of your clients in church, I never told her about my church, never told her about Greater Church, nothing like that. So I look in the crowd today, I'm like, Nikita, what you doing here? She was like, I was looking up churches online and I came across Greater Church. Like,
that's crazy, man.
So to put my hands on that social media in 2020, this when I was recording iPhone videos, you know, after I done told Pastor Mike, you can't get people in here with iPhone videos, but I knew I always had like this creative vision to still put out great content regardless of what I had. So when God blessed me with that camera, literally put it in my hand.
That's good.
I knew I had something. This feeling came over my body. I knew it was God. So when I got that camera in my hand, I went straight to Amazon when I got home. They didn't even give me all the attachments. Like you said, I kept working and I figured it out. And man, here I am, man, humble as ever.
And purpose comes scattered.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's come
because he ain't gonna tell you, but friend been a beast.
Yeah. You better rep for your husband. You better rep for your husband.
Friend been a beast. Without the camera. Like, side note, he come from a whole family that deal with cameras, bro. Like,
really?
His mom is like a genius.
Yeah. She been shooting since she was 16 years old.
Get out of here.
She really got my whole college career, middle school, everything documented with pictures.
When I tell you, friend has been a beast.
Yeah.
I can remember before really like tapping into church and in him building the content, because I can remember us having conversation about like, yo, this church page is trash.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
Who is coming? Who is like? We love y'all, but no shade. Like,
nobody's coming here.
Who is coming? Like the post is all off, and at that time frame, you know, I had a little bit of something going on with social media with Lavish Impressions, building a really good page and just a good flow. And, you know, I'm like, babe, you got to take over this page.
Yeah.
Take over it and do what you need to do. But I can remember us going on vacations and, like, the people who was with us be like, T Greene, can you take my picture? Can you do my video? And whatever song you think that matches, go ahead and do it. Yeah. I can remember we going to Miami. This man that took a plane emoji, flew it across, and this is before like all these different apps. Yeah. So hear me. Like, the gift has always been embedded in him. It's just, you know, God had to let that seed.
Yeah, he had to get me.
Look, bloom.
He had to give it to me.
Blooming.
Literally put it in your hand.
He put it in my hand because he knew I wasn't gonna buy
it. And when you get the seed in your hand and you see it growing, you know what to do because you know it's yours.
Yeah.
You can identify what's yours.
Yeah.
And as you go, as you were climbing through the rubble, like, oh, I need this piece.
Yeah.
Oh, I need that piece. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going to shoot for this one. And now you start to understand your work in your business. God gave us work, not jobs. I continue to say it. Your work is that now is that because now you get to transform, you get to create a reality for people behind the camera. You get to see things. Like I was saying, the cameraman, he sees through everybody.
Yeah.
The editing, you see through everybody.
Yeah. You know, people don't even give me a script. Yeah. I'm that good now. They say, hey, I'm booking you. You do what you want to do. So I don't even call myself a videographer no more. I'm a director of photography / videography.
That's it, man.
You feel me?
You see it? Manifestation right there. Yeah. Look at that,
I came a long way, man. So I just figured out, I'm like, you know what? I'm more than that. Like, you know, I really... You know, I just came off a vacation in the Caymans, doing this young lady's birthday. But literally, I orchestrated the whole thing. She didn't know what she was paying me $1,000 for. Thousands of dollars for.
Put an S on it.
Thousands.
Soon's going to be millions.
Come on.
It's inevitable. It got to happen.
Talk to me.
Contracts. And I talked about earlier, things like this come through what God is, what you were born with.
Yeah.
You were born with this. It DNA. I didn't even know your mom did this. That's crazy. So it was already in you. It's your mom's greatest. You becoming your mom's greatest expression.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing. Like,
That's
think
a
about
blessing,
that.
man.
Now she get to watch what she was trying to do, and you got to do it by on a private jet, by the world watch. You see what I'm saying? This is why we're having this conversation tonight, because this is why we're in the age of the blended family. But how do you co-parent with somebody? This is why you got to heal.
Yeah. Ooh.
This is why you got to have healthy families.
Yeah.
Because you guys, it could have went bad for all three of us.
Come on.
And we can make it go bad for our kids because we all have blended situations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all have situations. I have a blended situation. Obviously, people know my situation. And being in a co-parenting situation it's a complex thing sometimes because you have attachments to people that you've dealt with. Obviously, most people, not everybody. If you have a child with somebody, you probably know them on a deeper level. So you was once in good standing with them.
Yeah.
Now something happened to alter that standing.
Right.
So now what do? So now, and then here he goes. Now here comes somebody else. Here comes T. Greene.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your situation, right?
Hey.
Here comes T. Greene.
Yeah.
So now you have another man in the picture. Now you have a child.
Yeah.
And now here comes Callie.
Yeah.
Now we in the age of the blended family. Now there's a co-parenting situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
So.
Ooh, it's about to get spicy. Ooh. I don't think y'all ready for this, boy.
Ooh, child, I'm just gonna tell my truth.
A lot of
You
prayer.
can go ahead and tell your truth. We can just talk about that because I want to. But so tell me where you are in co-parenting. And what's your thoughts on it is and your experiences, whatever you want to share.
Yeah.
It's up to you. But because the heart of this conversation is, this is why I want to talk about what you guys are, because what an opportunity we have right now to continue sustain success.
Yeah.
What a not just about the money, but being able to create it the fullness of our own doings, meaning that our kids have the space and the option to do it. We don't have to be tied or say do this or do that. We have created a space for them to be able to create at their highest.
Yeah.
And that's what we can offer our children now by rectifying these type of conversations, because there's a stigma behind co-parenting, right? It's damn near supposed to be negative. Yeah. It's supposed to be like, oh man, y'all supposed to be having problems, but no. There has to be a stand. If we're talking about God, if we're going to invoke the name God, then what does that look like? How do we define co-parenting? I know where we want to be, but let's talk about what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's first back to what we are. So let's talk.
Okay. What you want to know first?
Tell me. Talk to me about how did you arrive at becoming being a co-parent? Yeah. So I guess, give me a little background.
Little background story. So, I met Caden's dad, in undergrad. And to be completely honest, like, I'm being very transparent. And first, I just want to say this. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for being in this space.
For sure.
Thank you for allowing me to tell my truth.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to be able to speak freely and not feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Because you have always been very supportive in this area. Yeah. And I have been in situations where I have dated men who have not been. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I ain't tender. That's how I got through this. I'm not
You
tender.
cannot. Let me tell you something. Our situation was not for the weak.
Come on.
Our situation was not. I mean, the beginning of our relationship, the enemy has tried to play with us.
Come on now.
Okay.
This is y'all podcast. Talk to him. This is y'all podcast.
Being very transparent. The enemy has tried to play with us. Yeah. And so, going back to Steve's question, how did I meet Caden's dad? So I met Caden's dad in undergrad. We were really good friends. He was in a program that freshmen come in, and to be fair, like, this Negro was not checking for me, y'all.
Oh, wow.
He was not checking for me.
Oh, wow.
Not.
Okay.
Like, I'm being transparent.
Yeah.
He was not checking for me. City dude from DC, and it was the attraction that I had to him, and he really just seen me as a friend, you know. And sometimes I wish that I just would have pressed into just accepting the friendship, but that's maturity.
Yeah.
That's maturity, because sometimes as women, you know, we see what we want and we feel like we can manipulate and do whatever we need to do to get what we want, even though that ain't what you need. That ain't what you need. And so I really played the card as friend. But in hindsight, like, I really liked the dude. Really liked the dude. And it was a forced, to me, looking back at it now, it was a forced relationship. I feel like over time, because of who I am, my personality, and when you have a friendship with people, you know, you just kind of like over time like end up liking somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
well.
it's like dang, well, I mean, I do kind of like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not trying to go there with you.
Yeah.
And when I look back, when God takes me back to that time, I see that. You know, and at one point in time, I could appreciate it, because friend kind of gave me the signs all along, like, this ain't what you want, this ain't what you want, this ain't what you want. But it's like, no, I can handle it, because you gonna change for me. You know how women do is you gonna change for me. He gonna change, girl. He ain't gonna change till he wanna change.
Facts.
And
1,000%.
you know, we had an on again, off again relationship. Prior for the first 2 years of our relationship, it really was just like buddies with benefits. That's what it was, especially in undergrad. You know, you're in college, like, you really ain't really got a relationship with somebody. And
Everybody got a relationship in college.
Boy,
That's where the diseases are developed at.
Come on.
they don't tell you that part.
Come on.
College, man,
Come
listen.
on. Come
College
on.
is
They
a
don't
wild
tell you
place.
that part.
College is a
I think
wild
they
place.
released us out there to sow our oats.
Man.
People in college, man, listen.
And I don't even know if it's the same. Like, what it is.
It probably worse.
It's worse. What
It's
you
probably
mean?
worse. Cause now you can only get the people. Now you can get people outside of your college. See,
Yeah.
social media
Hey.
wasn't prevalent when it was there. Now you can get people everywhere now.
I didn't belong in that era.
What?
I grew up to almost memorizing numbers for a reason.
Yeah.
'Cause boy, we ain't gonna need to speak on that, because boy.
Oh man,
Yeah.
but yeah. So we on again, off again, and I am I'm 2 classes ahead of him, right? So I really was like doing my big one, because it's like, why you like even like, come on, like, come on, you about to graduate, you try to like deal with like a freshman, sophomore, like, you know, and this is just me looking at it now.
Yeah.
But long story short, in the midst of all of that, I ended up getting pregnant with Kaden. And our relationship, to be very transparent, it was very toxic because of the foundation. You know, we were friends, but that whole friendship, you know how you try to like hold on to like a piece of something just to kind of like make something work? That's what we were doing. And I felt like I was doing it more than he was, but I didn't also feel like he got complacent. Why ruin something good? I got this girl eating at the palm of my hand. Why ruin that? Home cooked meals and taking care of, why ruin that? You know, so, you know, it came an opportunist. I feel like he became an opportunist in the situation. And we, you know, as soon as I was about to call it off, I'm talking about wipe my hands with it and I'm done with you. I don't want to deal with you no more. Find out I'm pregnant.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, God.
I'm like, God.
Got to be quicker than that.
Mighty. And the crazy thing was, because of where I was in life, you know, I really felt like I could change him. And I felt like, you know, if I just keep working a little bit harder, if I keep praying a little bit harder, even at that young age, you know, it'll shift where this is going to work out for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think being so young, like I said, going back to that opportunist standpoint, it was a little bit of manipulation. So he knew my desires. He knew that I wanted to make a life with him. He knew that I wanted to have kids, marriage. He knew I wanted all of those things. And I think he kind of played that in his hand to keep me around for his needs for as long as he could until it was time for him to graduate. Because this went along the time frame of him being in school.
Yeah.
Because he, like I said, I was a little bit older than him. So when it was time for him to graduate and go back home, that's what Boo did. Boo graduated and went back home. And I was 5 months pregnant with Kaden.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Deep.
Yep.
Gone. Man.
Gone.
What kind of headspace were you in at that point?
To be fair, it was my wake up call. It had to happen. It's like trying to put on a shoe that you know that cannot fit, and you trying to force it in. You get it on. You walking around. Your feet hurt. Trying to be cute. That was my situation.
Yeah.
And I can't put in words like my time frame of pregnancy, because to be fair, like it was not a good time.
Yeah.
It was not a good time. I was by myself half of the time, and then the other half of the time that I was with him, it was toxic. It was bad.
Man.
It was bad. And so that's how, parts of me knew, like, okay, this baby got some type of purpose. Because of the stuff that I went through, I could have miscarried.
Wow.
Because of the drama and just toxic environments and just stress. Like some of the stuff that I went through, if I was to really like sit and tell my story, people's mouths will be on the floor.
Wow.
Of what I encountered during pregnancy.
It was some of that. Did a lot of those feelings carry over into the actual co-parenting when you got to that stage of co-parenting?
So believe it or not, when he left, that was my door closing. I never once let him back into my house. I never once slept with him ever again. I never once tried to make it work, even when he came back.
Wow.
I couldn't do it. It was almost like God, in that time by myself, he worked on me in ways. I can remember being sick, being hospitalized by myself. Him, his parents forcing him to come down to check on me.
Wow.
And, like, what kind of feeling is that? Like, this is not how I'm supposed to feel. This is not how I'm supposed to feel. And so when I closed the door, I closed it. And, I've always asked God, why do you give me the heart that you give me, where I can let people, like, treat me like, the piece of trash on the floor, but still give them grace? Why? What is this going to be used for? Like, please show me, tell me, give me a sign, like, give me a flash, something of like how this is going to help me along the way. And like I said, when I closed that door, I closed it, and I was hurt.
Of course.
I was hurt, but I knew I couldn't carry it in my new season. Like, something was just like, you cannot make your child suffer for the things that his father did to you. Number one, because I felt like it was my fault. To be fair, God had already gave me the signs from day one of why I should not even try to push forward with this person. But number two, it's not fair to my child.
That's a fact. Because
at the end of the day, he is getting a different version of his father than what his father would ever give me.
That's a fact.
Opinion.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Do you think sometimes we can get trapped in attraction
Oh, yes.
Like
All the time.
where we get stuck and then it becomes infatuation.
Oh, yeah.
Where you don't even love this person anymore. You don't love them at all. You just want them so bad.
That's
You
what it
got
was.
to have them because you got trapped in their beauty did something to you. That's why you need to look at the heart. That's why these preference conversations we're having are dangerous. Because if you keep looking on the outside, sure, it's good to come out with a person that looks very good, but that's all that is at the end of the day. That's all that is. And then
that's what it was.
And you keep going. Infatuation lasts a long time.
Yes.
It'll have you embarrassing yourself.
Yes.
You will be doing things you never thought you would do.
Yes.
You will be taken and being tolerable to, like, what is this? And to kind of go back to something you were saying about why do I let people run over you, grace and things of that nature? That's the point. It ain't you letting them. That's the strength part of it. Love ain't what you. It's how much you can take.
Yeah.
Because what that does, it turns and convicts them because they were looking for a fight. Is always looking for a fight.
Right.
Hurt is always looking for hurt. Everything is always looking for its kind.
Right.
So misery, if misery keep punching you and you don't give it misery, then it has to turn. If you give it grace, then grace has to be given back.
Right.
Grace comes with accountability. So when I go back and say, dang, she didn't treat me the way I should have been treated, then I turn and say, oh, shoot, I got to look at myself. That's what grace does. So you're actually empowering them.
Yeah.
By giving grace, because a carnal response is not what we're called to give. Right. That's what we're talking about tonight with co-parenting.
Yeah.
Because now all those feelings that you've had, I can imagine there was some. If you was in the hospital, stress, anxiety, depression. I can imagine that's probably the start of it.
Oh yeah.
And when you're infatuated with somebody, you do some things.
Come on.
For sure.
You do some things. You do some stalking things.
Yeah.
You do some location things.
Come on.
You do a couple things that you won't even recognize yourself.
Come on.
Men and women do this. You don't even recognize yourself and you get caught in that trap. So I can imagine all those things that you had built up inside of you.
Right.
And at some point you completely lost yourself. And then at what point, so the cadence comes, to kind of fast forward a little bit, and now he comes into the story.
Oh man.
How do you come into the story now, T. Greene?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, when I met her, I thought, look, when I met her, I ain't gonna lie.
Just know we leaving out like a whole part.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Because it's we just know we're leaving out like this whole, and I feel like it's an important part.
Summarize it. Go. Tell it.
You want to tell your part? You want to tell my part?
Tell it. I just want to know how y'all. Yeah,
we was in the same boat before we met, literally rowing.
I'll tell my part.
Yeah.
Fast, and then
we'll do a part 1, Tim, and a part 2. How about that?
And it's
you probably won't have to do it.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead then.
Yeah, we should be good.
But in the midst of when I met Kay's dad, I was back and forth with a boyfriend.
Okay.
Of like 4 or 5 years. We were on again, off again, on again, off again. And to be very transparent, in the midst of our on again, off again, I was back and forth with Caden's dad. And so whenever I got pregnant and Caden's dad left, this ex-boyfriend came back in the picture. And this is like the ex-boyfriend that mama, daddy, everybody love. This is who you supposed to be with.
He's your Carlton Banks.
Why you let him do? Like this was that type of boyfriend. And he was with me through the time period that Caden's dad left.
Ooh.
So I went through a period of like being by myself. And I feel like that's where the growth started to produce and grow. But I also feel like that when this ex came back in the picture, it helped me get over, quite naturally, his dad.
Got you.
And this is like the person I'm supposed to be with. So even though like we went through all this drama, you still supported me throughout my pregnancy.
For sure.
The last 4 months. And I'm talking about supported. Like, knew my cravings, like in labor with Caden, he's all the way in Dominican Republic. He flies back early to make sure that he's there with me when I have Caden. Okay? In the midst of that, he could not get over his hurt of how did I get pregnant by this.
Oh,
Tender.
because they overlapped.
They overlap with each other.
And okay, so he was the guy that really loved you, but you loved the other guy.
Yeah.
So he was the guy that you could lean back on.
Yeah.
The simping.
Yeah.
He was sort of not a simp, but I'm just saying he was the guy that.
But that's what we thought. Let's say that. That's what we thought because it really. Because
you could get it. You could.
He had his ish too. He was playing his hand the whole time. I did not, and I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was not aware.
But he played. So he played more of the victim than what he actually was.
He played more of the victim. He was nowhere near the victim.
Gotcha.
And so, whenever I had Kay, he was in the picture. But this is why I can give so much appreciation to my husband.
Okay.
Because I seen night and day. I dealt with somebody who could not deal with the understanding of I have to talk to my kid's father. I have to, at one point in time, because of where they live,
yes.
like I had to travel the first couple of months because we were living in two different places.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you I didn't let friend come back.
Yeah.
So it was like, you're not coming back. You can't even come to the house.
Wow.
So it was a lot of traveling back and forth, and I still had good standing grounds with his family.
Yes.
So we co-parent. I actually co-parent, to be fair, y'all. I co-parent with his family for the longest.
Gotcha.
I just started co-parenting with him, and I can't even say if I'm co-parenting with him sometimes. But fast forward, when I met T, I was in a situation still with the ex.
Okay.
Okay. And
Spicy.
the ex and T worked together.
Crazy.
Oh, it get juicier than this.
Oh boy.
That's why I said the enemy had his hand.
Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna keep talking, keep going.
Yeah.
So what? Go ahead. Say, come again. Say what? They would work together.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So when I was dealing with my ex, I met T at my first internship job working a wedding.
So Lavish Impressions.
I wasn't even with Lavish.
You was with something else.
I was with another company.
Okay.
Interning.
All right.
But this was my first wedding I had ever done. And T was a groomsman. Okay. And I was still kind of dealing with the ex. And the ex had did something the day before where it kind of like opened access for me to even be willing to speak to someone because I was so solid where I'm trying to make this work. I ain't thinking them. I'm like one of them ones. If I'm trying to make something work, I ain't even checking for nobody else. So whatever happened that day before, open ground.
The veil came off.
Right. It opened the gate to anybody can come on in and take charge. So when I met T, it's crazy because T approach was we're walking down a hallway taking gifts back to the bride and groom suite.
Yeah.
And it's like a group of us.
For sure.
And somehow the conversation came up about if you got a baby daddy, you still I don't care what nobody say, baby mama still mess with the baby daddy. Right. Something that, and I was caring. I said, not me. I don't.
Yeah.
And he was looking and they was looking and I even had somebody to co-sign for me. Like they like, nah, she really don't go baby daddy. And I guess that like intrigued friend. Because I don't even think at that point he didn't even know I had a kid, let alone was old enough to have a kid. Let's say that because I'm
she look young.
I'm young, I look young.
It don't matter.
Well seasoned, but I look young. And so from there, it opened ground for us to have communication and start to get to know each other. But all the while, I still had this thing with this ex, and then I still had this baby daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Find out that the ex, who I still communicate with, who has access to picking K up if I need somebody to pick him up from daycare. This is how intertwined me and him still was. Him and T works together.
Oh, Lord.
Tough.
And I'm like, what in the hell? Like, you got to be kidding me. And I could just remember saying to myself, we can get through this because I knew it was going to be drama.
So
I knew it was going to be drama.
It's an ID bomb coming.
I already knew.
1,000%.
And I said, if we could get through this.
1,000%.
This is my man.
So had you already made up your mind who you was going to be with?
No, because it was still early.
So it was still so he was still on the chopping block.
This was fresh.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if he can handle all this ish I got going on, like we may be on to something here. And I would never forget our first date. I had already vetted him.
Yes.
Like I had already went on social media. I had already like called around, asked people what's up with this person here. So, you know, I'm coming to the date like, okay, if he don't let me know what's really good, because I kind of already know a little bit of your backstory, like shut it down, Miyoshi. He ain't even worth the time. Shut it down. And I would never forget. He's like, well, I got the situation.
Yeah.
I said, oh, thank you, God.
Yeah. Not knowing she came with all this baggage though. But I spoke my truth. I spoke my truth first.
You felt a little bit better.
I said, oh, do you? Let me tell you my tea.
You feel like you was cleansing the blood.
Oh, when I tell you, it was like, I mean, it felt like the gangster. I said, oh, thank you, God.
She ain't right, bro.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, if he don't tell me what he got going on.
You were playing that situation.
Huh?
Oh, you was in the middle. You was
it
a
was
play.
a chess move.
It was 100% chess move. Oh, I know that weight fell off your
Oh, when I tell you, I said, oh, well, let me tell you my situation. Right.
So, keep going.
So we ended up spilling our tea.
Good date though.
Really good day. Yeah. Really good day. Ended up spilling our tea. Yeah. And from there, really from that day, went every day speaking with each other.
Wow. Yeah.
From
to
that
this day
to this day.
Wow. To this day. Yeah.
And that's amazing. That's 10 years.
Because it takes something to people may look at this. People may look at situations when you first come together and it's not ideal. It's a reason why, because you're going to deal with situations that are not ideal in a marriage. That's not in life. So you guys get into a relationship and you move a little further. You start to like each other, a whole lot.
Well,
hey,
go ahead.
Boy.
Well, in between that, like I said, the enemy was trying to place his hand. That's how I know, like, our relationship is so divine. Yeah. Like, it's equally yoked. It's what God has for us. Like, I know that because of how it was set up.
Yes.
And how the enemy attacked it early, like fetal. Like, let me go ahead and get you before you even see.
Wow.
Let me get you before anything come up out of this. And it was different elements of our relationship early on where it could have took us slam out as far as drama on his end and my end, because I still, you know, we still was having juggling. You know, we trying to get to know each other, but also like still kind of like comfortable in the situations that we're in. So it's kind of like, I want to get to know you, but I'm like, I'm not about to go back into something else that I just came out of. Like, I'm not about to do that.
For sure.
And so from there, I mean, it was situations where he had like literally befriended T. Like, you knew he worked with you, but now all of a sudden he's your friend. Yeah, you're coming to his desk. You dapping him up. Y'all talking about shoes.
Oh God. So T Greene, how was that for you? Like that situation when you found out about Buddy?
I really didn't find out, bro. I brought it to her attention. I'm like, man, this dude. It's something like, about him. I said something about this dude, man. Like, cool dude, you know, real, recognized real.
Yeah.
Didn't know he was real fake. You know what I'm saying? my discernment, I don't know. It wasn't up for something. But, you know, I don't really get close to strangers anyway, so it didn't matter. Like, you know, like, man, you a clean dude. Like, salute, bro, you clean too. Where you get them from? Like, you know, it was like a buddy relationship. Yeah. Just, you know, giving each other flowers. You know, how men supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not just going to hate on a dude I don't know.
Yeah.
We recognize, you know what somebody is. You can see if they got a little juice to them.
Yeah.
You know, that's man law. You can say a little juice.
Yeah. So I never knew that they talked on that type of level. Never knew.
Until we started having conversations.
Yeah, so he, you know, another conversation led to another. You know, I was working in a call center environment. You already know what come with that.
Yes.
It's a lot of women. You know, so, you know, we talked about women a little bit. And I think I had just met Miyoshi at a wedding. Why'd I bring her up? Oh, you know Miyoshi? Like, oh man, she cool. You know what I'm saying? She cool people. You know, and I can't even remember if he said I used to talk to her or he kind of looked at his homeboy like, Miyoshi, like, yeah, my Miyoshi. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There ain't
You know,
many Miyoshis running around here.
I peeped that. I'm like, why he look at this dude after he said Miyoshi? So I'm like,
Which, by the way, the dude is like a friend.
Yeah.
Who
know their story.
Who know our
Yeah.
story. Who
Right.
knew me and his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that ain't even, man, it gets so deep.
it gets so deep. Like when I tell you it gets so deep.
Yeah, it's deeper than that.
Before we get to the co-parenting.
Yeah.
This
Wow.
is like, all of this is happening in hindsight of, wow, I'm still dealing with toxic energy, you trying to run me all the way from where you are because I got your son, because I done had a baby by you, but you don't even really want me.
And it probably broke his heart.
I don't think so.
You don't think like when you had a baby by somebody else, he was.
Oh, well, for the other guy,
Yeah,
for
that-
sure,
for
but not for Kay's dad.
No, I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about the guy that.
Oh,
yeah.
well, but the
was-
thing, I mean, like, if we want to really get into it, the thing about it is, remember we told you, like, we thought, you know, this is like Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
But Mr. Perfect, like, had a whole situation, had a whole woman
Oh.
who just so happened to be T's manager. We can't make this up. We can't make this up.
Man, y'all lying, man. I got on here and start lying.
We can write a book.
Let me tell you. Who thought
It blew my mind, bro.
that Caden was his son? It was
Yeah.
one time where I was working a wedding. I wasn't that cool with T to let T watch K. So I let who knows K watch K. He has the girlfriend, which is T's
My boss.
around K.
Yeah.
So when they get back to work, she's like, "Oh, I met your son." And T like, "What the hell?
Well, I don't got no kids.
I ain't got no kids.
I ain't even have no kids.
I don't have no kids." So he didn't even say nothing. Like he could have busted his
Yeah,
spot up.
yeah.
He could have busted his whole spot up. So he had apparently told her, like, "I'm watching my homegirl's son." And I'm like, when T came back, I'm like, wait a minute. What? So you didn't even like come up front and say, "Hey, this is an ex-girlfriend. We had a thing. I've been here. I've been in this child's life since he was born. And I have really, I'm connected to him. So, yeah, I do watch him from time to time." So that in itself was just like crazy. All the while, he is literally trying to pollute T's head to have T stop talking to me, where he could still have power over our relationship. And at that point, I was in a situation where I was like, I gotta let this go. I can't even be friends with you.
Yeah.
I can't be friends with you. But at the end of the day, I'm like, what about his relationship with Kay? That's where I was mentally. What about he has been here from the jump, like in the labor room.
That type.
That type. The only reason why he ain't see K get pushed out because I had a C-section. Dang. And my mother was in there with me.
Man, that was a tough that's
Because
tough.
at the end of the day, K dad didn't make it in time. Man. He came after the fact. So, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But yeah, like I was going through that. So I had to like really like put on my big girl drawers and be like, I gotta cut this nigga loose. Like even if me and T don't work out, I got to cut him loose. And when I cut him loose, it's like even more hell broke loose.
Yeah. Cause I didn't force her to do that.
Mm-hmm. Because he
Her
had his
cousin
own
told her to do that.
situation.
Look,
Huh?
your cousin forced you to do that.
What?
We was in DC. Her cousin, her first cousin told. I
She's
guess
like,
when she
you
saw
gotta
our
cut this
relationship where it was going,
Yeah. She was like,
"Oh, I love you." Like
She was like, but
Miyoshi, you gotta let him go.
You gotta let him
like
go.
today.
Yeah, like
So-
regardless of what your history has been with this person, and that's I think that's human nature. Like because of history that we have with people, and how people manipulate us to make us feel like we did them wrong, or we do each other wrong, but we still got love for each other. We gonna still be in each other's corner. That's where I was at, and so I couldn't even halfway accept what I had because Tia tell you like I was dealing with that. But I was also dealing with verbal abuse, to be very transparent, from Kay's dad.
Yeah.
It was always an argument. I mean, about the stupidest stuff. And I could not understand because it's like, friend, you ain't even here for real. Like, you ain't here. You barely call. I'm really handling this by myself. But when you call, it's an argument.
Correct.
I'm just like, why am I arguing? And I can remember T like, why are you arguing with him? And I'm like, I'm not.
I let that go on until So when I got with her, for real, I shut that down.
Yeah.
I say, hey, if he ain't talking about the child or whatever cuss word he throw out, hang up the phone. Like, why you sitting there listening to that? Like, for what? Mm-hmm. You my girl now. It's over. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not gonna come and interfere with their relationship because I know how important, a father figure is. You know what I'm saying? I still got my father in my life, even though my mom and my dad split. I used to go to Georgia every summer with my dad. So I know what a father figure, supposed to be like. And I had a stepdad, so.
So that's my next question to you. So that kind of answers the question a little bit because your temperament through this whole thing, having a father in your life and knowing that chaos is a part of family, and you knew how you felt about Miyoshi. So a lot of men probably would have walked away. Yeah, sure. What made you, kind of stay through all of her conquest in life?
We ain't gonna get on his conquest. We ain't gonna get on his, but know that it was equal yoked. Okay, it was just
okay. So you answer the same question then. Mm-hmm. So I want you to answer the same question I asked him. So go ahead. What made you kind of stay? Like, how did you fight through it?
Man, first of all, I'm not a jealous guy because I think any jealous guy would have ran in those situations. Like, she got a baby daddy and a crazy ex at the same time that she trying to cut off. Like, when I heard the story, I was like, I think about like, it's a new sheriff in town. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm ready to draw my guns, whatever I gotta do.
Pow. Boom, boom.
Because when we met, it's like, man, like I felt the connection. Like after we had that first day, it was over with. Yeah. I talked to her every day of my life until right now.
That is amazing.
Till right now. Never, it hasn't been a day I haven't talked to her. I don't care if we went out the country. I don't even know how many days that is. That's going on 10 years.
Math on that.
Right. To not have a conversation with a person, not just one time, you know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. And it goes all the way back. Like it was just meant to be. I couldn't fathom because I was in her DMs in 2011. When I got off the plane to Raleigh, North Carolina, I went to a St. Aug and Shaw basketball game. Front row, I'm sitting courtside right here, like, I'm feeling this atmosphere. Like, yeah, I'm at the school now, so I'm scoping around. I'm like, some beautiful women around because, man, I came from Mississippi. Like, seeing city girls, like literally, Philly, DC.
You see the murder orcas of the world.
Man, DMV, like I didn't even know girls existed like that in the world. I used to see that on TV. I'm not talking down on Mississippi girls, country. I just when I got to that city, like boy, I was
you were hooked in.
I was a beast that needed to be tamed. And so when I met her, I was like, I was transitioning on like I didn't want a whole bunch of girls. I didn't want that no more.
That's the third time.
Third time, yeah. Yeah.
So we had interaction 3 different times before we actually.
Man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I met her little cousin in a sports summer camp it was 2015 at the Y, and
13 because it was before I had K.
Dang. Mm-hmm. So in the DMs 2011, 2013, right before she had K. I met her little cousin. I think her little cousin was 16 at the time. Mm-hmm. So she was like, man, I got this cousin for you. At 16, how did she know I was
That is
gonna be
amazing.
the dude
That's
that I
crazy.
am now? You know what I'm saying? So I guess she like, man, he like a big brother to me. You know, he a real one. I need to introduce him to my big cousin. So she said she went home and brought my name up. And she was, mind you, I never asked her cousin, like, what happened. And she was like, yeah, I was still with K-Dad. Like, she's trying to get me killed. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Look, I got this problem. Like, you so crazy. I got an in-house. You know, like, come on now. Like, for you tripping.
yeah. So I'm glad it didn't happen at that time. 'Cause at the
Timing is everything.
I wasn't ready. You know,
Yeah.
I was
it wouldn't have
real,
worked.
you know, truthful, upfront guy. Yeah, I had a lot of girls, but I was truthful upfront. I'm not looking for a girl. And, you know, fast forward, I never gave her that ultimatum, ever.
That's good.
So, you know, when we brought it to the table, we was real upfront with each other. Like I said, if I wouldn't have pulled my skeletons out of the closet, she wouldn't have pulled hers. You know what I'm saying? So who the real one?
Oh, whatever.
But yeah, man, I just understood like the bigger picture. Like, you know, them dudes, I wasn't studying. Like I said, new sheriff in town. Like I wanted to continue to try to build whatever we had, whatever God had for us. And yeah, man, this where we at right now. Like, you know, I was scared. You know, not like this my first real relationship. So I didn't really do the girlfriend thing. You know what I'm saying? So just even getting in that relationship, being scared, like it got to the point she was like, hey, bro, it's been about four months, bro. Like,
You ready to
you
call
know,
it?
4 months don't sound like a long time.
But it
to
is
me.
when you spend a lot of time with somebody
Every day.
and you hit that
Every
3-month
day.
mark and you be like, yeah.
Look,
You pass your 90 days, bro.
we was taking trips early together
Friend,
too.
I told him, I said, you got the Christmas to figure out what you gonna do. Because I got more to lose than you. I got a whole kid over here. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't trying to start all this, getting all tight and then you be done walked out. What you gonna do?
Because now your standard is raised from the last two situations.
Facts.
So
my
God,
standard was.
yeah. So now you already know, you know, kind of
Exactly.
like, okay, here we go. We're not gonna do this.
Here we go again. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
because
about to-
now you become the balance of power shifts a little bit now because you've been through where you were infatuated, where you was manipulated by your own version. I wasn't there, but that's what happened to you. So now that raises the standard. But God already purpose and pieces, like we talked about earlier. Sometimes you have the pieces; they show up at inopportune times, and sometimes they show up in chaos.
Yeah.
To see how bad you really want it, because he had the heart posture for you,
Right.
meaning that he loved you past your carnal state. Your beauty was recognized, but he seen something else he couldn't put into words. That's what it really is. Like, and when people don't really love you for who you are, it's not a fault of theirs.
Yeah.
They couldn't. There's nothing wrong with those guys.
Right. Nothing.
You just wasn't him.
It ain't built for
Right.
They wasn't built for what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no matter how you try to fit a square peg in a circle, it ain't gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
Oil and water don't go together. It's just some things don't, but peanut butter and jelly do.
Yeah.
And I also knew what he needed. That's important. I knew he needed a father figure.
There we go.
And why not me?
Yeah.
I didn't have any kids. So when I said I came straight in, like you said, like already doing what married people do. Like
Yes.
I didn't even have a kid by her. So, you know, to step up in an important role like that, like, man, I look back like, dude, you blessed. Like, you different. I knew I was different.
And I mean stepped up.
100%.
Like, I mean, I can remember a time K-Dad had pissed me off so bad, I blocked his number. And it was Father's Day. And I had a wedding that I had to do. And I don't know how we got on the topic, but I said, I'm going to give you his grandfather's number, Caden's grandfather's number, and Caden's dad's number. Now, if you decide that you want to call them with K to tell them Happy Father's Day, then you can do that. Yeah. I'm not, because of where I'm at.
And I did it.
And he did it.
I did it.
And it's the fact that he even asked. It's the fact that he even took the liberty to just say, let me just, I mean, it is Father's Day.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I know
Father's
y'all
Day.
got, but it is Father's Day. And that right there spoke volumes
Yeah.
to me, because I mean, throughout the process, he still was always the bigger man, to be completely transparent. You know, men get territorial. So
100%.
regardless of the fact, like I said, if I wasn't with his dad or not, he still was territorial, period, even if he didn't want me. But it was the fact of how he still took his stance, but still respected the fact that that's his daddy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact that is his daddy. And that was something that I didn't get from the other guy. Like, you couldn't even respect. You wouldn't even, like, you wasn't even equipped to understand. Like, you felt like because he did not do what he should have done, that he shouldn't even get rights. And it doesn't work like that.
Creation don't work like that.
No.
Yeah.
When you honor the person who brought a person into the world, you honor God's creation.
Come on.
Because we're vehicles.
Yeah.
And when the creation comes, i.e. the child, then you respect the vehicles that it took. Because regardless, it took something to get both of y'all to come together.
Right.
Through all that turmoil. You see, we talked about infatuation and you going after him, but it was to get Caden here.
Right.
Yeah.
By any means necessary.
Any means.
And it had to do, all of that had to happen. And when you have co-parenting situation, the person that you with got to respect the person that you had that kid by.
Right.
Because they're going to always be there. Like we said, when you get married,
Always.
you're there. He's always going to be. What's the point of you getting mad at
That
him?
part.
What's the point of you staying mad at him? Now, do we feel some type of way? Because in I'll tell a little bit with my situation. My oldest daughter, she has another man in her life. And he's been there for a while. Like when we first got there, we ain't had no real problems because it was kind of a situation where, you know, I was in love with the mother of my child, and you know I didn't know he was there. It was a situation for a little bit, but when we split, he came into my daughter's life early, and they was kind of on and off, but he'd been there, and I had to make a decision because at first I didn't like it. My ego was, I was what? You know, oh my goodness. I didn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
And this is where I had to realize this is internal talking right now. But on the outside, I was still showing respect.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if he's not harming my child and we both made the conscious decision to move on, there is a chance that somebody's going to be sitting in that seat. People are not built to stay alone forever. No. And that's where we're going to always be blended. This is inevitable. Yeah. So, but over that time, my respect for him has grown because God made a way for my daughter to get that and to still get me all the time.
Come on.
This is the advantage. We always look at the disadvantage.
Yeah.
Sometimes we may not, as a culture, we need a village. We got a lot of trauma that's going to take a lot of years for us to unpack, not just individually, but collectively, and also as a family. Look at how much you went through in just that span of time.
Yeah.
3 different situations. If people look at it from the outside, you messy. No, you just stumbled into those situations. It was somebody you was infatuated by. It was innocent. And then you had the guy that promised you everything, that was manipulating, that pretended to be great, and he was the wolf in sheep clothing. And then here's your purpose standing there. Now he flawed too. Yeah. He messed up too.
Oh, for sure.
Because and God give you the understanding. Let me not act like I'm all high and mighty. I'm gonna sit right here. I know I like this one, but I do got some skeletons right here.
Yeah.
You see how they work? So God was working through all of that for y'all.
Yeah.
And that's the point here in co-parenting where you got that. So I'll go back to Kevin for a second. That's his name. Shout out to Kevin too as well. Shout out to him for real. He's been there in Garen's life. And it took a while for me to internally get that. But once I realized the benefit of us having a covering for our children, even if our relationships don't work, and our relationships aren't going to work because all the time the way we want them to work, they're not going to calibrate all the time because we're different people. Women have grown. You think your own thoughts. We're not the same. Men have to re-identify their role. You got to re-identify your role. And sometimes in society we have a lot of break before that becomes healing. That's what happens. Sometimes I may be a casualty of war when it comes to this. Maybe not. But this is how it works before you actually get to a breakthrough, because the breakthrough here is, okay, co-parenting. it's tough. You have to get over hurt and past feelings. And you guys have, navigated this terrain. We're going to close in a minute, but you guys have navigated this terrain, co-parenting. Now you got Callie. Right. And so that's a different thing too. So now you got Callie in the household and okay, she got both of her parents, but Kaden, he don't now. So you see that dynamic now. Yeah. So now you guys have to navigate that. All of that, those are real feelings. Yeah, it's real tough, stepdaddy feelings. You have those. Now you stuck right slap dab in the middle of it all. And you get this way, that way, this way. So you got to sort of be a general a little bit. Right. So all of these things are a part of the marriage umbrella. Right. That going forward, that strong relationships are the remedy. Facing the issue up front. Yeah. Not hiding from it, talking about the ugliness of this is how I arrived here. Because sometimes when we gotta be careful sometimes on what we want. Yeah. Yeah. And start focusing on a lot what we need. And your kids will give you the focus and show you what you need. Amen. Your kids will refocus you. And I think this is the point of this conversation is our kids we have to be refocused by what we want to see in the future for our children.
It's bigger than us, man.
Absolutely. So before we wrap up, this has been a great conversation.
I feel like I love it.
No,
we might need to run it back.
No, but we got. But I want y'all to come back and be regular guests.
Oh yeah,
on the deep side. I want y'all to be. I feel like y'all are family. Yeah. I feel like y'all are part of this, and we've all been trying to do ministry together. Yeah, because that's what I see this as. Yeah, and we again look, and I wanted to say we can stop the conversation here because I want to restart it. Yeah, and just continue to let God kind of do what He do in these conversations where it's organic. And girl, you something else. Listen, and y'all relationship, marriage is beautiful. Yes, stick together.
Thank you, man.
I'm telling you, man. God, marriage will never go out of style. Yeah, it will never go. And this is where you go to find joy. It's not, marriage ain't about happiness. Yeah. It's about finding the joy, finding that, that balance. Yeah. That's the joy. Being able to say, what's the bigger picture? T. Greene as the man. Yeah. You being able to navigate things too as well. Being a mom, being a working business owner. Yeah. Y'all both business owners, but keep that family close. Right. Amen. No matter what. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the people that clap for you aren't here. Right. When you go home at night, Tuesday when your kids go to school, you gotta get up in the morning, brush your teeth and get them, and they crying and they fussing. Yeah. See, that's real life. That's real life. That ain't like life. And you're trying to be consistent, but you missing stuff. When you leave the house, it's clothes on hanging out the bed. You leave stuff all over. You just like, man, I can't let nobody walk in my house. That's how it really worked on it. That's how it really worked.
I thought rich people had maids.
Well, when we find out how
I got a maid.
They are. How affordable housekeeping we need help. We got to make life a little bit easier.
Efficiency. Yeah. Come on. You make sure that because when you have a clean house, it just change your energy. Don't make you feel good, man.
Your mindset is so different, and it can allow you to focus on the other parts of life. Yeah. Even with the kids, I can't describe it, but we found out how affordable it was. We was like,
I had to try it out.
Absolutely.
We're going to try this out.
Yeah. So I want to do this again and sit down and talk about this again. Yeah. I want y'all to be regular guests and come on and talk. I like our flow. Yeah. I love our flow. I love talking to y'all, man.
Yeah, we love talking
to you. So people got to,
you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, Steve. You've been trying to get us to do this for the longest.
And I knew y'all, and especially this one, I knew y'all had it. And I want you to continue to do the work. Yeah. Let's continue to the work you guys continue to do with Lavish Impressions. That's a ministry. The Greene Special. Keep doing it. Yes, don't stop doing it. Yeah. There are days we want to stop. There are days we want to give up. Yeah. Don't give up. Because if we give in, then what do our children have? All right. Let's leave something for our children. Yeah. A real inheritance, not just money, but something tangible that they can have. And right now, all three of us, we have an opportunity right now to be great. So let's continue this conversation. Hey guys, go to the Deep Surface Experience on YouTube and Instagram. We're coming to different platforms. I want to thank T. Greene and his lovely wife for coming. Listen, I hope they regular guests on the Deep Surface Experience. We want to keep having these conversations. We out.